Hey there, my name is Suzanne, and if you've come across this video, then you might be able to relate to my journey with POTS, and you might be looking for answers, or at least a sense of not being alone in all of this. So I just wanted to, I guess to backpedal, I have a habit of commenting to posts on Reddit about POTS and other issues that I resonated with throughout the past couple of years with solutions that I found. And I realized like I could help so many more people than the number of people I help through just like these tiny little Reddit threads. I mean, who knows who sees my comments on there and who it helps, but I figured I might as well show up online and make a video and see if if I can reach a greater audience, because I know what it feels like to be living in a state of fear, to be suffering, to be in pain, and to feel isolated as a result of the symptoms of POTS, um, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, I believe. And it's frustrating, and you're not alone. So that's my why I'm here, because I know what it's like, and my intention is to share more of my journey, not only from the POTS perspective, but maybe from um, other issues that I've had to navigate over the past few years, including like air hunger, health anxiety, and spirituality too has been really intrinsic in my journey. So we'll see what comes out of this, but I do want to share from a higher level my experience with POTS. So my intention is not to tell you what to do. I'm not your doctor trying to like prescribe anything. Um, but I do want to share my story and what I've tried and what's worked for me, because it's made a huge difference in my standard of life. And if there's anything you can take away from this through your filter as like an autonomous human being who can make your own decisions, then that's amazing. So I've got a screenshot of this kind of like timeline of my experience with POTS. And I've totally forgot like all the bullshit that I went through over that time frame. Um, and it's just really wild because I feel so much better now. I would say about like 98, 97% of my symptoms have been alleviated. And it's really interesting to be in this place of feeling so good and forgetting what it feels like to feel really, really shitty until I'm looking through these old notes that I have, that I put together during that time. So, timeline wise, I was diagnosed with POT syndrome when I was 17 years old. Um, this was about 10, 11 years ago. And my main symptoms at the time that made me get the diagnosis was just some dizzy spells that came up. But I've also always had trouble, feeling out of shape all the time and trying to slow my heart rate down after running, or if I get up too fast, I'll feel really lightheaded. Those were like the main things I dealt with. But it wasn't until March 2022, it was right after I got the Moderna booster. I had gotten the two Moderna vaccines in April 2021, so a year later I get the booster, and that same month my POTS symptoms my POTS symptoms started acting up, and it was just really bad. My symptoms, let's go through a list of them, Shall we? Palpitations, heart racing, chest pain, and I put specifically above the left nipple was a commonplace. Adrenaline dumps. I would wake up in the middle of the night to my heart racing and adrenaline just surging through my system. Um, Disorientation, fatigue, headache, head fog, occasional head pain. Um, Flushing, like if you get up too fast, like blood kind of runs through your body uncomfortably. Anxiety. And I also took notes of what worsened and improved my symptoms. So, like, worsening it was alcohol, stress, caffeine. really carb-dense food. And a lot of times if I would just lie down and try to nap, it's like my heart rate would go up. It's like my heart was struggling to pump blood through my body in that resting position, which really sucked. And then things that improved it, which, surprise, a lot of it was based on like, it was improved from fruits and vegetables and hydration. So I'll get more into that later, but it was just a really difficult time. And I remember, let's go back to the timeline really quick. So after symptoms got worse in March 2022, the next month I went to a cardiologist, got strapped up to a heart monitor to like check out what's going on with my heart over like a period of 4 weeks. And it turns out that I had PACs and an incomplete right bundle branch. So you can Google PACs. I don't really remember what it means right now, but he was saying like all the symptoms, like they're benign pretty much. And a lot of it is anxiety induced. And that was a common theme whenever I had conversations with medical professionals, like my doctor or my cardiologist. But especially with my doctor, I remember her telling me that my symptoms were like maybe I was just anxious, which was complete bullshit. Like, of course I was anxious, but it's because it was a byproduct of all the shit I was going through, which was super frustrating. But at the time, towards the rest of that year, I was also started going to therapy and, well, mostly seeing a spiritual coach who acted kind of like as a therapist for me, and learning how to set boundaries and being in really stressful situations that exasperated the symptoms. But basically what I found is like and I'm sure you can relate to these frustrations if you're going through this as well, like all of these, there were solutions from like the healthcare industry that were addressing the symptoms. They weren't addressing the core cause. And it shook my faith in the system. Like I used to just rely on my doctors and do whatever they ask and not question things. And then until I realized I was not getting the support I needed. I wasn't getting the help I needed. I wasn't feeling validated. And it was also a lack of validation in like with friends and family to an extent. It just seemed I just didn't feel supported. I felt very isolated and I felt very scared because I didn't understand what was happening to my body. And so I started checking out like holistic practitioners. Some of them were trying to heal from like the gut and other things and through supplements and things like that. And the doctor was also like, you can take prescriptions too, but I've had experiences with prescriptions that I had really horrible side effects with. So I just didn't want to explore that, you know what I mean, unless I really had to. But my options were running out, and I was trying a lot of different things. And I was also having to learn to rely on myself to find answers. Like I was taking to Reddit, I was taking to blog posts, like I was trying the Chops and Levine protocol for working out. Um, I was trying like visualization meditations of my heart being in perfect health. I was trying limbic system retraining and nervous system regulation stuff, Hertz frequency playlists, nasal breathing. I was just trying a lot of different things. And I've even created like, it's sad, but it also is like a testament to my efforts and I guess the love I have for myself to try to give myself a better life. But I have notes and lists on my phone, just so many of different ways to manage my POTS and cataloging my experiences of pain, like when I'd have really intense chest pains and when that happened and what could have triggered it, and just really trying to problem solve and help myself because I wasn't getting the help I needed elsewhere. And so I even remember calling my mom at like bright, super early, like 3 or 4 in the morning, because I woke up to chest pains thinking I was having a heart attack. Like that shit is scary. And the last thing I'll add too is like, I was just so anxious and confused and didn't understand like just how dangerous this was, my symptoms and what they could be alluding to, because I didn't understand it, to where I was always checking my pulse. I was always like, I started checking like the health anxiety subreddit because I was just always so hyper vigilant of all my symptoms and whenever they would happen, because whenever I'd have a symptom, like my heart would skip, or I'd have a palpitation that would lunge out of my chest, or chest pain, or I'd feel dizzy, like especially the chest pain and palpitations. Every time I felt that, which was daily, which was regularly, it's like the fear in that sensation. It was like every time I felt it, it was like the first time I felt that symptom. It's like the fear was new. You never get used to it. And of course, that just put me in this perpetual state of like dysregulation, of feeling scared and fearful, and just trying to like control the situation that felt so out of control. It was awful. And for those of you who can relate to me, like my heart is right there with you, because it does not feel good, especially being in that state for a long period of time. Like it takes its toll on the body and the mind and the spirit, you know what I mean? So went through some bullshit, and I tried so many different things, but then one day, I don't want to say one fateful day, but I eventually heard about the medical medium. I don't know if you guys have heard of Anthony Williams, but he is someone I would highly recommend looking into his information with an open mind, because it's his information that I attribute to healing majority of my symptoms and giving me back my life. And it's literally just founded in the healing properties of fruits and vegetables, leafy greens, herbs, and like really pure tinctures and supplements. It's just mind-boggling that the most simplest of things, like lifestyle, dietary changes, is what can really improve these types of situations. I started exploring his information early this year. I got a couple of his books. I was really sold on the testimonies, like the testimonials online of people on Instagram sharing their experiences, real people, to the point where they have then suddenly dedicated their life to sharing medical medium information on their own social media platforms. Like, it just spoke volumes to me, and it put me in this mindset of, well, I was in a mindset of desperation at that point, but might as well try, right? Might as well be my own guinea pig. What's the worst that can happen if I eat more like broccoli and potatoes and apples and X, Y, and Z, lemon balm, whatever? So I did my first simplified 369 cleanse in March or April. And after that cleanse, I immediately felt this, like my heart was softer. My heart was lighter. It's almost like I forgot what it felt like to live in a state of fear and pain, because I was feeling so good. And then I started incorporating foods that weren't the best for me, and then the symptoms naturally came back. And so then I did another cleanse, and it took a lot of discipline and compassion for myself if I were to slip up, but the effort was still there. And I remembered, I kept at the forefront, like my desire to change my standard of my quality of life, just kept that at the forefront, and connected with a community and with other people going through similar things on Reddit. And I just gradually got better and better. And all the while I was also working with like my spiritual coach and journaling, and shedding a lot of things in my life that I'm just no longer aligned with, like an old job or old friends, or learning how to like speak up and set boundaries. There's just so many fucking changes, all within last year in particular. And I'm sure I'm missing some things in my timeline here, or whatever, but it just got to this point where now it's December 2023. I started incorporating medical medium information in like March or April of this year, and I feel like the difference in how I feel now versus how I felt like the end of last year is like so drastic. My life has changed so much for the better, specifically health-wise. Like I can work out now. I can go for a run without my heart feeling like it's gonna explode out of my chest. I can go about my day without living in fear and without checking my pulse and without just feeling so dysregulated, you know what I mean? I just feel so much more at peace, and you really can't put a price on that. So all of that to say, I highly recommend looking into, that's my cat cleaning himself in the background, by the way, if you can hear him. But I highly recommend looking up medical medium information, just giving it a go in with an open mind, be a guinea pig for yourself, and just try it out and see what happens. And it's like, you might change your life. You probably will change your life for the better if you give it a try, you know what I mean? Or at least if it doesn't work out for you, at least you've tried and maybe it's pointed you in the direction that's right for you, you know what I mean? All going in with like an open mind. So that's been my experience in a nutshell. And I really hope that those of you out there who have POTS or health anxiety and things like that and can relate, like I really hope that there's something from this video that you can take away, because you are not alone. And it's possible to get better if you want it to get better. You know what I mean? Like, what am I trying to say here? It can get better and it will get better. Just don't give up. Because I'm living proof that it can get better. And so many other people within the medical medium community in particular. It's just one of those things, like on Reddit, at least in the POTS subreddit, you cannot, I've been banned before temporarily from posting about medical medium information helping me. And I think because a lot of it's not fully backed by science, like mainstream science, which I think is a whole nother conversation. How a lot of industries really benefit from us not being well. And it's not to blame the moderators for it, but it's something you might not be able to talk about on there, but it's possible to heal your POTS symptoms. And I hope that I hope you feel empowered to make the changes in your life that you deserve, because we all deserve to live a more peaceful, healthy, abundant life. I guess I'll leave it on that, but yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I might make some more videos about my experiences. It's been a very tremendously impactful past couple of years, so we'll see what happens, but yeah, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll catch you later. Bye!